Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Hamas deputy leader Saleh al-Aruri killed in a drone strike in Lebanon's capital, Beirut. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to dedicate and lay the foundation stone of multiple development projects in Lakshadweep. And in cricket, India look to level series as they face spirited South Africa in the final test today at Cape Town. Now news in detail. Hamas deputy leader Saleh al-Aruri killed in a drone strike in Lebanon's capital Beirut on Tuesday. Hamas condemned the death while its ally Hezbollah said it was an assault on Lebanese sovereignty. Aruri was deputy head of Hamas Politburo and a founder of his military wing, the Qassam Brigades. He was the first senior Hamas political leader to be killed since Israel launched offensive against Hamas after its 7th October attack. Hamas said 2 Qassam Brigade officials were also killed in the strike. Now, Israel military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari meanwhile said Israeli forces were in a high state of readiness and prepared for any scenario. The IDF chief in a social media post said, and I quote, "The IDF is in a very high state of readiness in all arenas in defense and offense. We are highly prepared for any scenario. The most important thing to say tonight is that we are focused and remain focused on fighting Hamas," unquote. And Chief Israeli military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari in a televised press briefing on Tuesday declined to respond on consequences after Hamas leader's killing. He said Israel is focused on the battle against Hamas from the beginning and it will continue to do so. Take a listen.
I won't respond to what was heard here or elsewhere. We are focused on the battle against Hamas from the beginning and we'll continue to do so. We will update the public with instructions when needed and we change and specify instructions accordingly in the noon, evening and morning and will continue to do so. The public is also responsible and we'll continue to be as such and we'll update the instructions. These instructions are life-saving.
And the United Nations called the killing of Hamas leader in Lebanon's capital Beirut extremely worrying.
Obviously, the developments are extremely worrying. And I think this just really highlights what the Secretary General had just said about the dangers of the spillover of this conflict in the wider region. Because of the escalating tensions and the fragility of the situation in the region, we are calling for maximum restraint from all parties. We don't want any rash actions that could trigger further violence.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and British Foreign Secretary David Cameron spoke about attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea and the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine in a call on Tuesday. U.S. State Department said in a statement that the two leaders discussed the need to improve civilian protection and humanitarian aid delivery to civilians in Gaza. They also discussed the importance of collective multilateral action to address threats to global interests posed by Iranian-backed Houthi attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. And United Nations Security Council may meet on Wednesday to discuss situation in the Red Sea. The French ambassador to the UN, Nicolas de Rivera, in a news conference said on Tuesday, France holds the presidency of the UNSC from January 1st.
It's very likely that the Council will meet on the issue soon. So we will confirm this, but I think the situation is bad. There is a repetition of violations and military actions in this area. And of course, we cannot leave it like that. We need to take action.
And the global shipping firms continue to avoid the Red Sea route that gives access to the Suez Canal following a weekend attack on one of Maersk's vessels. Shipping giants Denmark's Maersk KB.co and German Hapag-Lloyd HLAG.AE have been rerouting some sailing via Africa's southern Cape of Good Hope. Maersk had on Sunday paused all Red Sea sailings for 48 hours following attempts by Yemen-based Houthi to board the Maersk Huangsu. US military helicopters repelled the assault and killed 10 of the attackers. However, Hapag has made it clear that rerouting is being done until at least January 9th, when it will decide future course of action. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations Organization on Tuesday received reports of up to 3 explosions 1 to 5 nautical miles from a merchant vessel in the Bab al-Mandab Strait. The strait, which falls between Red Sea and Gulf of Aden and is approximately 33 nautical miles from Eritrea's one of the main ports, Assab. The UK organization, however, said the master reported no damage to the vessel and crew are reported safe at present. The authorities, however, continue the investigation. Russia pounded Ukraine's 2 biggest cities, Kiev and Kharkiv, with missiles on Tuesday, killing at least 5 civilians. The new wave of heavy airstrikes prompted calls for the West to quickly provide more military assistance. At least 135 people had been injured in the latest missile and drone attacks, including 61 in the northeastern city of Kharkiv and 17 in the capital city, Kiev, according to Ukraine's Interior Ministry. Russia has intensified attacks over the New Year period after President Vladimir Putin promised to avenge attack by Ukraine on Russian city of Belgorod on New Year's Eve. Russia holds swathes of territory in eastern and southern Ukraine, and there is no end in sight to the war as next month's second anniversary of Moscow's full-scale invasion approaches. President Volodymyr Zelensky on Tuesday accused Russia of using almost 300 missiles and more than 200 drones into Ukraine over the last 3 days. Zelensky, in his nightly video address, said the latest attacks were intended to cause maximum destruction.
Since the beginning of today, there have been almost 100 missiles of various types, and the trajectories have been spatially calculated by the enemy to cause as much damage as possible. This is absolutely conscious terror. In just a few days, these last days, from December 29 till today, Russia has already used almost 300 missiles and more than 200 drones against Ukraine. No other country so far has repelled similar attacks by the combined drones and missiles, including aeroballistic ones. Today alone, 10 Kinzhal missiles were shot down.
Russia downed 9 Ukrainian missiles over the southern Belgorod region on Tuesday. Russia's defense ministry reported air defense units had thwarted another attempt by Kiev to carry out an attack on Russian territory with multiple rocket launching systems, according to the Russian authorities. Russian officials earlier said 1 man had been killed and 11 people injured in a Ukrainian attack on Russia's Belgorod city. The Annapurna region of Nepal recorded nearly 200,000 tourists in 2023, marking the highest number of visitors in the tourism history of Nepal, backed by a maximum number of visitors from India. As per the data of Nepal Tourism, the Annapurna region had visitors from 173 countries, the highest number of over 96,000 tourists from India, followed by visitors from France, Germany, United States, UK and China. The Annapurna Circuit trekking route encompasses various destinations including Annapurna Base Camp, Mardi Himal, Godepani, Tilicho Lake in Manang, Thorong La Pass, Upper Mustang and the Muktinath region. The region has been listed as one of the 10 best tourist destinations in the world. Now, New York City officials accused Texas Governor Greg Abbott, calling the governor a bully trying to destabilize cities. At his first press conference of 2024, New York City Mayor Eric Adams said Texas Governor Greg Abbott is not on the side of right. Earlier, in an effort to slow the surge of asylum seekers, Adams issued an executive order that requires charter bus companies transporting migrants to give a 32-hour notice before arriving into New York City. As part of the executive order, New York City is also requiring that additional information on the population being transported be provided before arrival. And on the first business day of the new year, the United Nations Security Council welcomed 5 new non-permanent members. Algeria, Guyana, Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone and Slovenia joined UN Security Council as non-permanent members for the year 2024-2025. They will join Ecuador, Japan, Malta, Mozambique and Switzerland as non-permanent members of the Council. The new members took seats previously occupied by Albania, Brazil, Gabon, Ghana and the United Arab Emirates as the 2 years terms ended on 31st December 2023. All right, let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. News of South Korean opposition leader Lee Jae-myung's recovery comes ahead days after he was stabbed in the neck during a visit to the southern port city of Busan. The party official said Lee is recovering in intensive care at Seoul National University Hospital, where he underwent surgery. On Tuesday, a man pushed through a crowd pretending to be his supporter and attacked on him. Harvard President Claudine Gay announced her resignation just 6 months into her presidency amid a firestorm of controversy at the university. Her resignation comes amid a period of extreme turmoil at one of America's most prestigious universities. Barely 24 hours after Disney's initial copyright on Mickey Mouse expired, 2 new indie horror films starring the beloved character have been announced. A trailer for new horror film Mickey Mouse Trap was released on Tuesday, showing Mickey Mouse as a knife-wielding killer, while the another untitled horror comedy sees a sadistic mouse tormenting unsuspecting ferry passengers. In U.S. state Colorado, a suspect was arrested on Tuesday after he broke into Supreme Court building in Denver with a handgun. The suspected was arrested on charges of arson, robbery and burglary. Police say Olson took keys from an unarmed security guard and made his way up the building's 7th floor, where he fired shots out of windows. He also lit a fire in a stairwell. All right, we'll slip into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Japanese rescuers continue to search for quake survivors in worst hit areas in Ishikawa as death toll rises. After Colorado, Donald Trump arbitrarily removed from Maine's ballot. Trump challenges that decision. And Bangladesh deploys armed forces in a run-up to the national elections.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibility. teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Former US President Donald Trump has asked a Maine court to overturn the Secretary of State's decision to remove him from the 2024 primary ballot because of his role in the January 2021 US Capitol insurrection. Maine's Secretary of State announced her decision last week, saying that she had a legal obligation to remove Trump from the ballot under a Civil War-era provision of the Constitution that prohibits those who engaged in insurrection from holding office. And days ahead of the Bangladesh polls, armed forces will be deployed across the country to assist the local authorities during the national election. Armed forces will be stationed at the nodal points and other convenient places in every district and other areas. The deployment is being carried out at the request of the returning officers and in coordination with the stakeholders. The 12th parliamentary election is scheduled to take place on 7th January. An Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day visit to Island Union Territory of Lakshadweep. Upon reaching Agatti on Tuesday, PM talked about development initiatives launched for the benefit of the local people. Today, he will dedicate and lay the foundation stone of multiple development projects related to sectors such as telecommunications, drinking water, solar power and health, among others. DD India correspondent Dibyendu Mandal tells us more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day visit to Lakshadweep. On Tuesday, PM visited the Agatti Island and inaugurated multiple development projects. He addressed a public rally where he spoke about the development initiatives that the government has brought in for the island.
लक्षद्वीप की पहली पोल बल्क स्टोरेज फैसिलिटी कवरत्ती और मिनिकॉय आइलैंड में बनाई गई है। अब यहाँ अनेक सेक्टर्स में रोजगार के नए अवसर बन रहे हैं। अगत्ती सहित पूरे लक्षद्वीप के विकास के लिए भारत सरकार पूरी प्रतिबद्धता के साथ काम कर रही है।
Prime Minister Modi will be in Karavati Island on Wednesday, where he will inaugurate several projects for the island. Projects like Kochi Lakshadweep optical fiber connection aims to improve the internet connection throughout the islands and build a better digital public infrastructure. Prime Minister will also inaugurate a mega solar power plant to meet the electricity needs of the island. PM will also inaugurate Model Anganwadi Center, a residential complex for the security personnel, amongst many other such projects.
कवरत्ती में ऐसी अनेक विकास परियोजनाएं लक्षद्वीप के आप सभी साथियों को सौंपने वाला हूं। इन परियोजनाओं से लक्षद्वीप में इंटरनेट की सुविधा बेहतर होगी। यहां के टूरिज्म सेक्टर को बहुत बल मिलेगा।
The slew of projects being inaugurated by Prime Minister in Lakshadweep is a testimony to the commitment of government for a developed India. These projects will also give a mega boost to tourism and improve the quality of life of thousands of people living in these islands. Dibyendu Mondal's report for DD India.
And India's Home Minister Amit Shah on Tuesday chaired a high-level review meeting on Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir in New Delhi to discuss security concerns and other significant matters. During the meeting, Amit Shah reviewed the area domination plan of security agencies in India's Jammu and Kashmir to eliminate the threat of terrorism. He instructed to strengthen the counter-terrorism operations and need for complete elimination of terror ecosystem. He also advised the security agencies for appropriate deployment in vulnerable areas. He reiterated that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the government will continue to adopt a zero-tolerance approach against terrorism. Union Home Minister has also appreciated the efforts of the security agencies and administration of the Union Territory. The Government of India has taken cognizance of the concerns of truckers, for which they are staging a protest since January 1st. Government representatives held detailed discussions with those of the All India Motor Transport Congress on Tuesday. The protest is regarding the provision of 10 years imprisonment and fine under Section 1062 of the Indian Criminal Law, reacting on which the government pointed out that these new laws and provisions have not yet come into force. It also clarified that decision to invoke Section 106 of the Indian Criminal Law will be taken only after consultation with the All India Motor Transport Congress. Thus, the government appealed to All India Motor Transport Congress and all the drivers to return to their respective jobs. All right, now let's take a look at other stories making news today. An earthquake of magnitude 3.0 and 3.5 on the Richter scale strikes 26 km southwest of Ukhrul, Manipur and Alipurduar, West Bengal simultaneously on Tuesday, as per the National Centre for Seismology. An eco-friendly golf car service started in India's Ayodhya ahead of the consecration ceremony of the Ram Temple on January 22nd. The service is set to provide ease to hundreds of devotees attending the ceremony later this month. And India's Jammu-based student Arjunveer Singh creates Rekindle Hope app designed to prevent suicide by promoting emotional wellness among students. The student also received India's National Child Scientist Award. The youth explained the transformative power of his app, asserting that with a simple button press, Rekindle Hope has the ability to alleviate stress, anxiety and depression, leaving countless faces adorned with smiles. Tourists arrive in large numbers in the snow-clad peaks of India's Himachal Pradesh, echoing with festive energy of the week-long winter carnival in the city. All tourist spots and hotels were bustling with activity, a testament to the state's resilience and unwavering hospitality. And Sri Lanka has notified India that it will not permit any Chinese research ship to operate within the exclusive economic zone or dock at its ports for a year. The matter taken into consideration after Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe to respect India's strategic as well as security concerns. The declared moratorium was conveyed to India through APEC's diplomatic channels last week. This implies that Sri Lanka authorities would not approve the Chinese scientific research ship to carry out deep water exploration in the South Indian Ocean from January 5th to May. In the past, Chinese research ships, hydrographic vessels and ballistic missile trackers have reached the Indian Ocean region for surveys and research purposes. India's capital markets regulator SEBI has brought in a centralized mechanism for reporting and verification in case of the demise of an investor. The new framework came into effect from January 1st. Vivek Iyer, partner at Grant Thornton Bharat, said the regulators are focusing on making the process easy for the customer. Take a listen.
SEBI's regulation on transfer of shares to a nominee in case of death of an investor is a step in the right direction. Retail participation in any country within the capital markets reflects their depth as well as the maturity of the capital markets, and making it operationally easy for retail investors helps in driving this particular agenda. The regulators of late have been focused significantly on making the process significantly easy from a customer standpoint.
Sports now. Cricket suffering a crushing defeat in the first test. The Indian cricket team is all set to stage a fight back as they take on South Africa in the second and final test at the Cape Town on Wednesday. India's batting was tested in Centurion, while bowling also failed to impress. The least they can do now is to level the series.
After being down and out in the Centurion test against South Africa, Team India seemed to be leaving no stone unturned to stage a fight back in the second and final test of their series against South Africa, starting Wednesday in Cape Town. India were handed an innings and 32 runs defeat after one of their most timid performances in a test match in the recent past. India folded inside 3 days in Centurion, managing just 245 and 131 runs across 2 innings. KL Rahul's well-paced 101 in the first innings and Virat Kohli's solid 76 in the second went in vain, as none of the other batters stepped up. India were troubled up by debutant Nandre Berger as he picked up 7 wickets across the 2 innings in Centurion. Marco Jansen also troubled the Indian batters with his pace and bounce at the Supersport Park. The Indian batters struggled to tackle South Africa's pace attack. Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shreyas Iyer and Rohit Sharma all struggled to put up a decent show. Indian bowling also failed to trouble South African batters. The absence of Mohammad Shami, the inexperience of debutant Prasidh Krishna and the part-time quality of medium pacer Shardul Thakur was apparent. India could not put together even decent patches of energy, effort and imagination. Krishna conceded 93 runs in 20 overs while picking a wicket. Jasprit Bumrah was the only bowler who impressed. With the series consisting of only 2 matches, India can at best earn a share of the honours if they win the second test. India's track record in Cape Town does not inspire confidence as they have never won at the new lands. In 6 tests, India have lost 4 including the test in their trip to South Africa in 2018 and 2022.
Alright, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.